What is going on, YouTube? It is All Things Mets Media, and this video is going to be about Carlos Carrasco. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you like Mets content, if you like everything that has to do with the Mets. Let's talk some Mets news, some recent Mets news. Carlos Carrasco is on the trading block for the New York Mets. Now, I'll tell you this, guys. The Mets picking up the option for Carlos Carrasco. It was a good move. Carlos Carrasco had a really, a solid year for the New York Mets. He went 15-7 with an ERA of 3.91. 3.97. That is closer to the 4. Basically, a 4 ERA. The ERA could be way better, I'll tell you that. But Carlos Carrasco was dependable. He was injured a little bit. But Carlos Carrasco pitched a lot of games. He pitched 29 games for the New York Mets in 2022. So the Mets saw this opportunity to pick up Carlos Carrasco for his option. And it was a smart move because I think Carlos Carrasco is a good piece for the New York Mets rotation. Now, I know that his age is a problem. He is at the age of 35 years old. And a lot of people, see that as a problem because the Mets rotation right now, as you see, Verlander, you got Carlos Carrasco, you got, Senga, you got obviously Max Scherzer. These guys are older. The only really exception is Senga, who is not that old. And, there are other guys, David Peterson, Tyler McGill. But those are seen as 5th and 6th starters at the moment. But yeah, guys, Carlos Carrasco is on the trading block. And me personally, I don't think Carlos Carrasco should be traded to, to another team because I feel like pitching is a big thing. And the Mets build their team around pitching. The only probably solution I would see is, getting a trade for Carlos Carrasco and bringing a power bat to the New York Mets lineup, which they really need. I think they really need a power, bat lineup. And, I think they need more power in the lineup. At the end of the day, I just don't think that they're good enough to beat these teams, that have more power. At the end of the day, we saw the Phillies. We saw, we know that the offense is a really key factor to getting to the World Series. Offense is very key. Pitching is key too. But, the Mets have one of the best rotations right now with Verlander, Max Scherzer, Quintana, and Carlos Carrasco and Senga. So we don't know what Senga will be, but we know Carlos Carrasco. And yes, Carlos Carrasco is not a perfect pitcher. He's never going to be perfect. He's going to allow some runs. He's going to do some things. But I'll tell you this, guys. Carlos Carrasco has a lot of value. This guy pitched 29 games. So you want Carlos Carrasco to be dependable, and he was last year. Carlos Carrasco was really good last year. Yes, he had in his first year with the New York Mets, his year was down. He didn't have a good year. It was his first year in the New York Mets. What do you expect? But this second year with the New York Mets in 2022 was a good year. This guy went 15-7. He did a lot of good things for the team. Carlos Carrasco is a guy that, you want on your team. This guy is a guy you root for, coming back from his injury. We know about Carlos Carrasco's past. And I like Carlos Carrasco. I think that the Mets like Carlos Carrasco. They're just looking at trade options, which they don't seem to exactly want to trade Carlos Carrasco, but they have him on the trading block just in case a deal comes through. And I have no problem with that. I just want to say that right now the rotation is solidified. You don't need to trade Carlos Carrasco. You really don't. If you do trade Carlos Carrasco, who are you going to put in that 4th spot or 3rd spot or whatever? Who are you going to put? Are you going to put David Peterson? Are you going to trust him in that spot? Or Tyler McGill? You have some options there, but me personally and a lot of people would have Carlos Carrasco. Because Carlos Carrasco is dependable. He pitches well. He doesn't have the strikeout stuff. But, Carlos Carrasco, I like him. And I think that he should be in this rotation. I don't think that the Mets should be trading him. Let me know what you guys think about Carlos Carrasco. Do you guys think that they're going to trade him? What trade would you like to see, with Carlos Carrasco? Do you want a power bat like, JD Martinez? Do you want another bat in another team? Do you think that the Mets need to look for another bat? In this case, they are strong with pitching, but do you think that they need to make a trade? So that is a big thing for the New York Mets. They're built around pitching, so I don't think that they should trade Carlos Carrasco. I just don't think that they should trade him. I like Carlos Carrasco. I hope you guys like Carlos Carrasco as Mets fans. And, like I said, who are you going to make a trade for? Are you going to trade for Garrett Cooper in the Miami Marlins, a power bat righty? Or are you going to stick with Francisco Alvarez as your righty power bat and have him in the 2023 season, as the DH? So the Mets have a lot of options, but pitching is a big thing. And the Mets have been built around pitching for the last, 10 years, 5 years, 7 years? They have been built around pitching. The Mets have always, lacked that offense, that power, not a lot of power in the Mets lineup. But the lineup, can do a lot, with Francisco Lindor, Alonso, we got Escobar, who's coming back. He looked like a really good Escobar, in that late season, in the playoffs. He performed. His defense is dependable. I like Escobar. I like the lineup the way it is. Yes, I would think that the Mets would benefit from going for another power bat, whether that is to trade for another power bat or do something else. But I think Carlos Carrasco, guys, let's keep Carlos Carrasco where he is in the New York Mets rotation, please, because I don't want to see him get traded. I really don't. Carlos Carrasco, I like him. He has a good slider. He has a good changeup. His strikeouts were a little up last year, 2022. So we'll see what happens, guys. But at the end of the day, Carlos Carrasco is a big piece of this team. So let's not trade Carlos Carrasco. Please, let's not trade Carlos Carrasco to the New York Mets. I think that, if you want to go get another power bat, if you want to get a bat, look for some other ways, whether that is by free agency, whether they need to pick up JD Martinez in free agency, whether they need to go to, trade somebody else. But I don't think that they should start at the rotation because they have one of the strongest rotations right now, in all of baseball. And yes, I know that the age is a problem with the rotation. And yes, that's going to be a problem. We're going to have injuries. We're going to have situations. And that's why you need guys like Tyler McGill and David Peterson that are there to pick up the slack. So listen, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been All Things Mets Media. This is where you get your latest Mets media. Everything that you need to know about the Mets. I'll let you guys know. I will be going live probably tomorrow for sure. So, let's talk some Mets baseball tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys. And I'm out of here.